Innovation and Digitalization of the Spanish Foundation for Science and Technology. Welcome here. We are happy to host this closing event of the Artificial Intelligence Living Lab, one of the three use cases of the IntelComp project. The other two living labs are in French, related to cancer research, and Greece, dealing with R&D in agri-food and energy. This AI Living Lab has been led by one of our partners in the project. This is the Spanish Secretary of Digitalization and Artificial Intelligence, STI. This Living Lab has focused on providing policymakers with information to understand the trends in R&D for artificial intelligence technologies. The aim of today's event is to show all the activities that have been carried out within the Living Lab and to demonstrate the results of two IntelComp tools in this use case, the STI Beaver and STI Policy Participation Portal. And then let's review the agenda. We will start with the role of co-creation in the IntelComp activity, later STI Participation Portal and STI Beaver, a brief demo. Later, IntelComp technological breakthroughs, main achievements, and sustainability approach. Then IntelComp vision from SEDIA and QA closing remarks. Now, some practical aspects. This event has an hybrid format. Some people are here at Petit and others are following it online through Microsoft Teams. You can ask questions here in the room or in the team chat. This event is being recorded in accordance with the terms of collaboration, also available in the chat. This video will be available in the IntelComp website, and the presentations will be available in the SEDIA website. And now I will ask you to introduce yourselves briefly. Joseba San Martin.
Yes. Hi, hello. My name is Joseba San Martin. I'm a policy analyst here at Petit, and we are coordinating this project.
Manuel Bedia, I don't know if he's here.
No, I think we can start with the room, and then we...
Okay. You can start.
Hello, I'm Lorena. I'm from Data, and I'm in charge of communication tasks in IntelComp project.
I'm Daniel Jimenez. I'm from NTT Data also, and I'm the expedition manager of the project.
I'm Maria Barroso. I'm from SEDIA, the Secretary of State Digital Transformation, one of the members of the IntelComp project.
I am Jesus Piz from Carlos III University, and I am also a member of the IntelComp project.
I am David Gago, and I am also working on the Artificial Intelligence Living Lab as a coordinator.
Okay. And Anastasia Tsigarida?
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, Anastasia.
Hello, I'm Anastasia Tsigarida, and I am in the HFRI team. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Sergio Di Virgilio?
Everyone hear me?
Yes.
I'm Sergio Di Virgilio. I'm working at DGRTD in the Data and Knowledge Management Unit, and also member of the Task Force AI for Science in the same DG, following the activity of the IntelComp since quite some time now, and the implementation.
Okay. Lampert Dietmar?
Yes, good morning. Also from my side, welcome. So I'm Dietmar Lampert from the Center for Social Innovation in Vienna, from the Policy Research and Development Unit, and we have been facilitating the Living Labs.
Okay. Frank Moreno?
Hi, my name is Fran Moreno from Instituto Internacional de Intraemprendimiento e Innovación. I am CEO and Chief Metaverse Officer.
Georgia Macri.
Good morning to all. My name is Georgia Macri. I am from the HFRI team, and we help with the preparation of the platform.
Okay, Gonzalo Soberón. Okay. Sí. Jerónimo Arenas.
Hello, hope you can see me. Well, my name is Jerónimo Arenas. I'm the technical manager of the project, coordinating the implementation of the platform, the deployment of the platform, and also activities within the Carlos III node.
Okay. Manuel Antonio Varela Rey.
Hi, I'm Manuel Varela. I work together with David Gago.
Eduardo Torres.
Hello, my name is Eduardo Torres, and I work at Cedia with Maria Barroso.
Okay. Alexa Torloukis.
Alexander or something like that.
Or
Alexander.
Alexandros Torloukis, sorry.
Elina.
Okay. Elina Pantou.
Hello, I'm Elina Pantou, and I'm working at the HFRI Research Department.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will start with the first topic, the role of co-creation in the IntelComp activity with Dietmar Lambert.
Yes, so do I share my screen?
Yes, Dietmar, please.
Yes. Do you need to stop sharing it, or how does it work?
Yes.
Okay. So you should be able to see my screen now.
Yes.
Could you confirm briefly?
We do, yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we have worked at the STI, the Center for Social Innovation in Vienna, a lot on different approaches with regard to participatory engagement with different stakeholders, being from policymakers to the rest of the quadruple helix stakeholders, be it from smaller setups in a product development to a full-blown foresight involving different countries. So we're really happy to join IntelComp and support the Living Lab approaches there. And I will basically just try to go into 3 questions because David will follow me and he has a lot of results to share. So I'll try to be brief. I'll delve a little bit into the questions. So why co-creation in the beginning? Why the Living Lab approach? And in the end, the all-encompassing question, would we do it again? Okay, so let's dive in. So we knew from the beginning what we wanted, and that is a high alignment of our efforts with the interests of public administrators and other stakeholders that are in this orbit of policy creation and policy analysis. And our big questions were, okay, who should we involve? Who is really relevant? What are their needs? And how can we reach them? How can we best engage them? How can we align the efforts? And we built on this stakeholder engagement concept that we created. We recruited stakeholders after, of course, mapping who they were, where they were, and what kind of needs they had. So, and the Living Lab approach itself, I mean, concerning artificial intelligence, that was a no-brainer because it has been a really important topic for a very long time, and it's becoming even more apparent for regular citizens, even with the emergence of certain tools. But we knew very early on that's really highly relevant also for policy analysis, policy making. So that was a no-brainer. And why the Living Lab approach itself? Well, it provided us a setting for collaborative innovation. That's the heart of it, meaning that you have a platform where you can develop and experiment things and do research, right? Especially geared towards the development of services and products in real life context, where it's not just abstract, but it really goes down into supporting people on the ground in their work environment. And of course, it is based on a community building activities, meaning over a longer period of time, you develop trust and mutual respect and understanding. So with all these pieces coming together, like policy questions that need to be answered, data facilitation, because there's a vast amount of data that needs to be provided, needs to be processed, and through AI mechanism technologies being enriched, we have certain products that we co-develop. And this makes up for a really complex setting. I will not go into this right now, but David will explain a little bit more what they have done in their lab with regard to the stakeholder engagement and the outcomes and so on. So the question for me to answer is, would we do it again? And the answer is yes, of course, because it allowed us to tackle really complex challenges that are involved when you deal with a multitude of stakeholders. But there is a small but, and that, at least in me, for me, and hopefully that's for everyone, that in hindsight that you would do things a bit differently. And maybe I would use not the Living Lab approach, but a pop-up Living Lab approach, which means it's more dynamic than a full-blown Living Lab approach. So it's a little bit shorter lived because the goal and aspirations of a full-blown Living Labs are to establish an ongoing process. And that is not really that suitable in hindsight for a project, especially when you have to deal with COVID in the very beginning. It's a little bit crazy to think back that we started actually when COVID started. So that really puts a dent usually in a long-going effort involving stakeholders. But I think we did a pretty good job despite that. But still, I think a pop-up Living Lab would be more suitable for a project context. So with that said, I think I have hopefully raised a bit your curiosity, what we have done actually in concrete terms. So let me hand over to David, and thanks for your attention.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Dietmar. Good morning, everyone. So what I'm going to do is to explain what are the basic results obtained during this period of work under the Living Lab on Artificial Intelligence. Let me first remind you what is the primary goal of this Living Lab. The primary goal was to provide a full picture of the Spanish science, technology, and innovation AI ecosystem, and this has been done in order to optimize policy action. And along with this primary goal, we had three complementary secondary goals. The first one was to involve the four components of the quadruple helix, namely public administration, the business sector, the academia, and the civil society in the project. The second one was to compare the Spanish situation with the European Union case in order to detect weaknesses and strengths. And the third one was to serve as an instrument to meet the Spanish strategic policy guidelines on AI. So this is started as a kind of reminder, but let me go through the different activities we have developed in this during the period of the project. And I'm going to classify this activity into two different initiatives. First of all, I'm going to review the workshop activity, and secondly, I'm going to go through the co-creation activity, which has been very much internal based. So the first activity we developed, it was the kickoff event, and it was held here at these premises at FECIT, and it was the 24th of October. And the main goal of this kickoff event was to raise visibility on IntelComp and to engage stakeholders in the project. It was a hybrid event. More than 50 people attended the event, and there were representation of the four components of the quadruple helix, namely the academia, business sector, the civil society, and the public administration. There were representation both from the national side and the international side. And the speeches were given not only by the consortium members, but also by external stakeholders. In fact, we had a keynote speaker. It was a person from Telefonica. And to summarize, I mean, the event arose a great deal of interest. So it was a successful event in our opinion. And then we had the second event, and this second event was held the 6th of June 2023, and it was about the interactive model trainer, the IMT. So interactive model trainer is one of the major tools of the IntelComp project, and the main goal was basically to get feedback on the MMT tool from stakeholders. It was an online event, and it was unleashed via Teams, and more than 20 people attended the event. And it was an event that was undertaken through agile methodologies. In fact, we unleashed value proposition canvas in App Mural, and this was done in order to optimize the feedback from stakeholders. And the results of this event were somehow below expectations, because the agile methodologies were deployed, but we weren't very much successful implementing the methodologies, because these methodologies work very much in person, and not they don't perform so well when they are implemented online. So it was a lesson learned from us. And then we developed a third event on STI Viewer. This STI Viewer event was held exactly 2 months ago, 27th of September. The main goal was to present the STI Viewer tool and the main functionalities of this tool, and secondly, a second goal was to get feedback from the audience. This was also a hybrid event, as in the kickoff event. It was held here as well at FECIT premises. More than 20 people attended the event, and only public representatives attended the event, because the STI Viewer is a tool that is mainly intended to this type of people. And the event included a brief demonstration on the main functionalities of the STI Viewer, and this was, I think, a very successful event, because it allowed the participants to have guided access and first-hand access to the visualizations of the tools, not only from Spanish indicators, but also from the European Union indicators. So as I mentioned, the result, was very positive. We ended up having a very positive feeling after this event. The demo was pretty much successful and attracted the attention of the participants, and the attendants were quite proactive and very interested on the different functionalities making up the STI viewer. So finally, we are now in the closing event. This is the Artificial Intelligence Living Lab final event. And the main goals, as Almudena has just mentioned, is to first of all provide the balance, a full balance of the AI Living Lab activities developed during the project's life. A second goal is to somehow demonstrate some recently launched tools. In my case, I will present a very brief demo on the STI Participation Portal. And a third goal is to somehow introduce the question, what's next? So we will go through what is after, what is after IntelComp. So we will introduce in brief some issues on exploitation and sustainability of the project. So we had about 35 people registered, even though the last version of the registration is more than 37 or 38 people. So we are very, very happy to have you on board. Thank you very much again. And there are representatives of the 4 quadruple helix components again. So because this final event is open to everybody. So this is basically the balance of the workshop activity, but I told you that along with the workshop activity, we also developed some kind of co-creation initiatives. These co-creation initiatives had an internal spirit. We developed these co-creation activities with the different components of the consortium team. And I will emphasize basically 2 co-creation activities. The first one was a training session that we celebrated at SEDIA, at the Secretary of State for Digitalization and Artificial Intelligence here in Madrid. This is the picture you see in the slide. It was held 21st of March 2023, and the main goal was to share with the SEDIA colleagues the main functionalities of the interactive model trainer, which is the heart of the IntelComp platform, and secondly to get feedback from the attendees. This session was chaired by Universidad Carlos III by Jerónimo Arenas, who is also present in this session and is about to speak about some functionalities of IntelComp, and it also included a short demo on IMT, and somehow it was advocated as a preparatory session to the interactive model trainer sprints. So the sprints took place during May and June 2023. They were internal sprints that were carried out along with our colleagues, our friends, colleagues from Ceres. So the main goals of these sprints were, first of all, to validate the correct deployment of the topic modeling and domain selection, which are the 2 main functionalities of the interactive model trainer. Second goal was to correct errors, if any. Third was to identify new functions, and the fourth goal was to make the tool the interactive model trainer more user-friendly. Okay, so I'm going to skip this slide because I presented this one on the last event, but just to put an example of co-creation, an example of co-creation that was developed during this session on the sprints, on the IMT sprints, was the selection of the criteria for the AI datasets that were used in terms of publications, patents, or projects. So, along with Universidad Carlos III, we decided the criteria for the selection of the AI datasets. So I repeat you, I mean, I'm not going to go through this, but this is to give you a glimpse of the kind of work that we developed together with Universidad Carlos III and our colleagues from H-Teres. Okay, and just to finish with this part on the balance of activities, let me share with you some key messages from our experience from this artificial intelligence living lab activity. So we have emphasized 5 main messages. So the first message was, and 4 messages have to do with the external stakeholders, and a final message is an internal code message. So the first message has to do with the strong interest that the AI tools arose in the stakeholders. So the stakeholders involved in the activities demonstrated a strong interest in the practical implementation of the artificial intelligence tools, because this practical implementation helps clarify the justification and the rationale and the potential of the platforms. For example, when we developed the demo on STI Viewer, I mean, this raised a great deal of attention from the stakeholders. This is the first message. So the second message has to do with the difficulty that, or the challenge that for us was to explain the full scope of the IntelComp as a project, because the IntelComp project has many pieces, and at some point it's a bit difficult to transmit how the different components of the IntelComp project interact each other and how they are related. So for us, a main challenge was to somehow explain the dynamics and the interactions between the different parts of the IntelComp project. So third message was is related to the sustainability of the platform. So for the stakeholders, a relevant concern was had to do with the sustainability of the platform and to what extent they were allowed to join the platform to undertake further developments using the tools that were already available. This is something that we would like to emphasize. And the fourth aspect has to do with the fact that all the stakeholders agreed on the importance of enriching the platform or nurturing the platform with a higher number of databases. So the platform is useful as long as there are many databases ingested, because the databases ingested imply that the value added of the platform is higher and can be optimized. So these are the 4 main messages with respect to the stakeholders. And with respect to the internal sprints that we have developed along with the technical team, for us, I mean, the internal sprints turned out to be very, very positive and a very powerful and useful tool in order to streamline and optimize the platform tools. And hopefully, I think these tools were very, very useful for not only for us but also for the technical team. Okay, so this is my presentation about the activities developed during the project's life regarding the artificial intelligence living lab. And what I'm going to do now is to jump directly on the next section, which is the participation portal. So my intention here was to somehow explain something about the STI viewer, but as the time is quite limited and there are some other speeches, I'm going to concentrate my presentation only on the participation portal. And what I'm going to do is to give you a very brief glimpse of what the STI Participation Portal is, and then I will share with you a very brief demo on the participation portal, just to give you the first-hand information about what the participation portal is and what are the potentialities that the tool have. Okay, so in order to do so, first of all, let me go back to the roots of the IntelComp project. So you remember that IntelComp project is about helping policymakers and administrators by turning large amounts of data, heterogeneous data, dynamic data, into insights, actionable insights and evidence-based policymaking. So this is about helping policymakers into their policy action. So there are some tools that make up the IntelComp project, but I will concentrate on two basic tools, the STI Viewer and the STI Participation Portal. The STI Viewer was fully explained the last event, exactly two months ago, as I mentioned. And the STI Viewer is intended to policy and STI analysts, and the STI Viewer helps the monitoring and evaluation of these policy makers, and it also helps funding allocation by exploring agenda setting. But along with the STI Viewer, we have the participation portal, the STI Participation Portal, which is the object of this speech. The scope of the STI Participation Portal is different. And why is different? Because the type of people that is intended to is different. I mean, the STI Participation Portal is aimed at the civil society, the industry, and academic stakeholders. But basically, the civil society and the civil organization. So the main goal of the STI Participation Portal is to engage the civil society into the project. And basically, this engagement is channeled through a survey. Okay. We have created a survey in which the civil society organization may provide feedback on different things, societal things, and some other things related to STI policy action. Okay, so let me explain a bit more about the participation portal and about the survey. So the survey is something that I will explain in the demo in brief, but before going through the demo, let me say just a couple of ideas about the survey. So the policy participation portal is a platform, it's an online platform which which belongs to the project IntelComp, which is the big platform, and is designed for citizen groups, civil society organizations, basically, and it uses a very user-friendly interface for these stakeholders, for these civil society organizations, to participate in surveys that are related to STI policies. So the surveys are enhanced with some data and visualizations from the STI Viewer. So this is an important point. You see, there's a strong link between the STI Viewer and the STI Participation Portal. You see there's an arrow here linking the STI Viewer and the Participation Portal. So the Participation Portal is somehow comes from the STI viewer, because the STI viewer gives information that is validated in the STI Participation Portal, and the people that are validating the information of the STI viewer are the civil society organizations. What is more, once the surveys are completed, and the surveys are completed in the Policy Participation Portal, the results of the Participation Portal are processed and are presented to policymakers in the STI viewer. Okay, and this is done in a separate tab within the STI viewer, and this is called the Policy Participation tab. So next, this is a next or a second strong link between the STI viewer and the Participation Portal. So the Participation Portal validates the information on the STI viewer, and then the STI viewer will bring the information, the feedback that is given by civil society organization in a particular place in the STI viewer. So basically, the main objective of the STI viewer is to promote some kind of societal focus and inclusivity in the STI policy making process. So once we have said something about the STI Participation Portal.
Let me interrupt you a bit because we have some questions. Okay.
Sorry.
Let me first. We are going to put our camera.
Sorry.
Okay. And then we have some question in the chat. I think you can answer that. The question.
Regarding the STI viewer, can you remind me if you made it available to the stakeholders of this living lab? So the STI viewer was undertaken jointly with the technical team, and we provided a very brief demo on this, but I mean, this is available for people from the consortium, but as far as I know, people from outside the consortium were not given the option to somehow work with the STI viewer. So the participation portal is a bit different because everybody is invited to collaborate in the survey and to somehow enrich the STI viewer giving feedback. But the STI viewer was something that was, I mean, it was a tool that was fixed and was built with the help of the different components of the consortium. A different one was the interactive model trainer. In the case of the interactive model trainer, we celebrated a session in which we deployed agile methodologies to get feedback from outside stakeholders. So in the STI viewer was more or less almost finished when we presented the demo. Just Jerónimo.
Yes, only to clarify that, well, I hear myself, that's better. We did not open the request for the STI viewer to external participants in the Living Labs, but they can actually access the information on the STI viewer platform. So, I mean, you can simply access the link that I guess was shared during the Living Lab. You will need to authenticate with any valid account, or it has to be B2 access. So if you don't have one, you can create it. And then you will be able, anyone can join and visit the STI viewer for the information which is there.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not open for external requests, but it's open for anyone to view.
Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to present the brief demo. So I need to. Okay. So this is the. No.
Let me change.
We change this.
Things here.
Okay, so you should see a screen with the, I mean, this is the landing page of the participation portal. So I have been given permission to access this survey as an AI coordinator. So once I have logged in, this is the landing page. And you see that there's a left-hand side menu. You see here that there's an item that is called surveys. Below this is a survey templates, stakeholder support, privacy policy, and use policy. So if we press on the survey templates and then you press on view, hopefully something will appear. Yes. Okay, and then what we have here is the survey, the artificial intelligence survey that we have created for the participation portal. And okay, you see that this survey has 3 main modules. So the first module is about demographics. The second module is the general module. I will explain in brief what the intuition behind this, each module. And the part 3 is this is called AI related STI policy making. Okay, so you can download the full survey if you wish. But let's review the different components of the survey. So first of all, we have the demographics, and the demographics contains different aspects to characterize the institution which is undertaking the survey, completing the survey. So, for example, in which country is the organization based? Which stakeholder group would you attribute yourself to? So there are many options. These are options from the civil society organization or from the civil society type of, because we have concentrated on civil society organizations and civil society groups. So you see here advocacy groups, think tanks, foundations, social enterprise, or others. What is your current position? What is the name of the organization? How many employees are working in your organization? The size? How long have you been in your current position, etc.? What are the priorities of your organization in terms of artificial intelligence? I mean, this is very basic information about the organization completing the survey. Next is about general information on STI policies, and this is about to what extent the organization is aligned with the STI policies, to what extent they are interested in collaborating into STI policy implementation, to what extent they are willing to do so, they are informed, etc. So you see here many questions on this. For example, the B2A, how do you keep track of STI policy making updates? You see many options that you can choose. How do you keep track of the STI updates? If there's any stream of communication between the organization and policymakers? What level of STI policies implementation are you more interested, be it regional, national, or European? In a lighter scale, you see here. And then we have the third part, which is about AI-related policy making. And here we have three different types of questions. We have questions on STI policies and related to AI. We have questions on the STI viewer aspects that are validated here in this survey, and we have also questions on sentiments on AI. But let me clarify the different types of questions. So first of all, then C1 or C2. We have, for example, what are the most crucial issues pertaining to the science, technology, innovation, process, policy making in AI in your country. You see different options, and you have a maximum of 3 fields to select here. In C2, you have, for example, how can the third sector collaborate with governments in the AI-related STI policy making. You have also what are, according to you, the most effective policy instruments to unleash the development and adoption of AI. There are some also open questions as this one, the fourth one, and you are here requested to cite some examples of effective use of instruments to increase AI investment. So you see that this is the fourth, the first 4 questions have to do with STI policies in AI, and then we have some questions about the perception of AI. So the fifth one is about the areas in which the AI has the highest potential to change our lives, according to the person who is completing the survey. The sixth one has to do with the major threats. So in the fifth one, we ask about the potential of AI. In the sixth one, we are requesting about we are asking about the threats, and then in the next questions, we are trying to request feedback on different aspects, on different graphs that are created in the STI viewer. Okay, so that's the connection between the STI viewer and the participation portal. For example, in this one, this seventh question, this is the technological production trends. This is the set of patents in AI in different topics over time. So maybe you remember this graph. There are some. I mean, this is not completely 100% fixed. There are some minor. This is a minor work that has to be done in order to finally fix this graph. You see that there's an overlapping of the series with respect to the topics, but I mean, let's concentrate on the information that is this graph is giving us. So what you have here, this is the topics that have been creating with the interactive model trainer. So we have 25 different topics that have been created, and what you have here, this is the series of the different topics, and this is giving you information about how these topics have been protagonists in the case of the patents over time. So the time series starts in 1990 and ends in the 2021. Unfortunately, we can't see at the moment the full series, but I mean, it's enough for you to know what is the rationale of this series. If you press here, for example, in voice and speech recognition, you see that there is a series that disappears, and this gives you the importance, of the voice and speech recognition as a patent source over time. And what you are asked here in the question is, did you expect to see something different? And okay, and you are requested in this paragraph to see that, okay, this is according to my views, according to my experience, or there's something else that I would like to express and I would like to contribute to. Okay, so the same applies, for example, with the scientific production trends. So this is the question number 8, which says, here's a graph that shows the evolution of publication on different topics in the domain in the EU over time. And you see here that you have the different publication in AI topics. We have 25 topics again, and fortunately this graph is working properly, you see, because it has a bar, and this bar gives you the opportunity to scroll leftwards and rightwards in order to see what are the main topics and the topics that have contributed more to the publications in AI topics. And the same here. You see here these scientific publication trends, and you are requested to fill in some questions regarding this graph. So, for example, the question 8A is, considering your expertise, did you expect to see something different from what is reflected in the graph? Or, for example, is society ready for the implementation of the scientific trends as presented in the graph? So there are some questions that are quite related and quite integrated with the graphs that are presented. So remember, these graphs come directly from the STI viewer. That's why the STI viewer and the STI Participation Portal are very much interrelated. So I'm not going to go through more questions because I'm running out of time, but let me just to finish, let me just explain some other items that are present in the survey. So you see here there's an item that is called stakeholders. If you press on the stakeholders, what you can do here is to manage the different stakeholders. So these are fictitious stakeholders that I have created, but we can create a second fictitious stakeholder. For example, we can name this stakeholder, I don't know, Carl Smith. Okay, the country, the residence country can be the USA, and the type, this is an NGO, okay? And if you press here, add, you see here the name of this person, Carl Smith from USA. You can edit if there's something that has changed. Imagine that this person has moved from USA to England. We can change the country of residence here or wherever. Okay, so once we have the stakeholders, if we press here in surveys, we can we see here that the survey has created, and this is John Smith or Carl Smith, that they have the IntelComp survey that can be answered, but in order to obviously fill in the survey, the stakeholder need to be given the invitation to the survey. Okay. In order to be given the invitation to the survey, we need to add the new manager, and the new manager in this case will be David Gago, because I'm the manager of this artificial intelligence survey. So I will put my my email, and then we are sending the invitation token, or this is going to to create an invitation token, and this is the invitation token that will be sent to Carl Smith or John Smith, the person who is completing the survey in order to access the survey and to be given the opportunity to complete the survey. So I'm not going to go through this because this was a fictitious character, this Carl Smith, but if you are okay with this and you are interested in completing the survey, what we can do is to, for all who are willing to do so, we can send this the consent for storing the data and the invitation for you to have access to the survey. So as you see, I mean, the participation portal is not 100% fixed, but I would say that is 90% or 95% fixed. There are some minor issues that should be fixed, but at the end of the day, this is right now a valid tool to get feedback from civil society groups and civil society institutions to enrich the evidence of the IntelComp platform. So, I mean, all the answers that are given in the survey will be stored in the STI viewer, and they will be anonymized. I mean, we will get rid of the name of the person who is completing the survey, but for us, it will be a very valuable information, because it's giving us the fruitful feedback on issues related to artificial intelligence. So sorry for my long speech, but I think it was important for you to have first-hand access to this survey tool that has been released. And we will give the floor to the next speaker. Yeah, I don't know if there are some questions.
Some questions, no?
No, I don't think there are more questions right now. So we can allow a final 5 minutes slot for questions. But if you have questions in the meantime, as long as we are proceeding with the different speeches, you are more than invited to do so. So I think next speech is Jerónimo Arenas from the Universidad Carlos III. So please, Jerónimo, the floor is yours.
Can you share the screen for me, Joseba?
Okay. So, do you want to share your presentation or I share?
The problem is okay.
Don't worry. I said it.
If I can do it.
I can do it. Don't worry. Is it okay?
Oh, just a minute. Not sure. Okay.
Can you see it? I think everyone can see it. Is this
But
one?
not me. The thing is, I tried to share, and now I've lost the screen. Give me 1 sec. Otherwise, I might have to leave and rejoin. Just a second. Okay, now I can see it. Thank you. Okay, so I will be in this talk describing some of the main challenges that we have faced from the technical side. Describing some of the solutions that we have found, and also some of the lessons learned. Okay, so next, please. Next slide. Okay, so this is these are the 4 ideas that I will cover in my presentation. the use of open data, what are the implications of using open data and the different data sources that we have used, NLP and artificial intelligence within the project, I mean, as a solution to some of the problems of heterogeneity in data, but also the use of some of the models of the tools have presented us some challenges that we needed to go through. Then an ambition of the project is to try to involve the experts in the loop, both for the creation of the artificial intelligence models, but also in the co-creation of tools, as David and Dietmar had discussed during the presentations. And finally, the need to have an integrated platform where we could deploy all our tools and where we had also the functionality and the hardware that we needed in order to train and the models and to support the web services. Okay, so we can start in the next slide with the use of open data. Next. Okay, so that one, you see here in the plot, in IntelComp, we tried to gather evidence to support policy making and in the STI field. And for that, we needed to rely on a number of data sources. You have here in the plot a few of them. There were actually more, and this can be accessed to IntelComp in a data catalog. But what is important to mention here is that all these data sources are heterogeneous. They have some metadata, they have some taxonomies, but most of the information, the taxonomies, for instance, they are not shared among the different data sources. Also, they are heterogeneous with respect to size. I mean, we have some of them which are reasonably small, and then we have other collections like the Open Air Graph, which are huge and required to deploy some pipelines that can process them in a parallel manner. Okay, and also there was heterogeneity here with respect to the amount of curation, the quality of the data in the different data sets. So the solution, the approach that we followed in IntelComp was rather than trying to align the different data sources or maybe come out with a very structured solution integrating all the data sources. We preferred, we went through an unstructured data lake where data was also distributed in Parquet files, in HDFS, so that we could then process them in parallel. This was particularly important for the data sets that are very large in size. Then we rely on text for aligning and comparing the information that we gather from the different data sources. And in order to do that, we were using English as an anchor language. So all the text was translated into English, and then we did some text processing, and we built some machine learning models using these text representations. And then all cross-data set comparisons we could do using these vector representations that we learned from the text. So next one, please. So about the use of NLP and artificial intelligence. So what are the tools that we decided to use? What was the reason behind that? So to start with, I have just mentioned that we needed to use to translate everything into English. So this is done with neural machine translation, which is brought to the project by our partner Tilde. And then we also needed to carry out some text pre-processing tasks. And for some data sets, which are massive, we really needed to do that in parallel. And we did so using Spark, and in particular, some NLP libraries from the Spark. Then with respect to the artificial intelligence models that we learn, we have a number of models that we use inside the project. We use supervised classification. We use zero-shot classification, which is very relevant and very useful when we don't have annotated data. We have deployed some systems for domain selection, which is relevant if we want to select a particular field. We have, well, you know about that artificial intelligence living lab, of course, but we have also covered cancer and climate change within the project. And this domain selection tool was very relevant in order to select the documents that we want to include in the analysis. And finally, we have also topic modeling tools. So you have some of the technologies that we use for this NLP and artificial intelligence part of the project. We use Hugging Face because some of the models I have mentioned are based on transformers. We have PyTorch for the training of neural networks. We have for topic modeling Mallet, which is not a neural base, but I mean, up to now, it's performing probably better than neural techniques for topic modeling, such as contextualized topic modeling or topic. Okay, and then finally, I would like to mention that you know, we have recently witnessed the widespread of large language models. This was something that was not, of course, considered when we started the project 3 years ago, when we presented the proposal 4 years ago. But even though we have tried to make use of them as much as possible, for instance, some of the classifiers and some of the methods that we use rely on the transformer-based document representations. And also we use GPT models in order to improve the interpretability of the solution. So for instance, we use that inside the topic modeling for evaluation of the topics and also to annotate and label the topics so that in the end the user gets something which is more intuitive and easier to understand. Okay, next, please. Okay, so about having the expert in the loop. For me, this is you know, something that was crucial in the project, and we did so at different levels. To start that with, we have I mean, you have in the slide like the workflow for the work in the project. So there were some initial steps where we developed a framework for data policy in the STI domain. Then the questions we came across were analyzed in the context of the living labs. They were analyzed with respect to technical feasibility. Okay, so this was, up to this point, was more like a theoretical work. And then we started the implementation issues. We ingest the data sources that we need in order to answer the questions that were identified and prioritized within the living labs. Then we need to train artificial intelligence models, and then we need to present the results of our analysis to the user. Okay, so here in all this workflow, the interaction, the feedback, the knowledge of the experts is of course considered during the theoretical part of the flow. It's also used during the fine-tuning, the co-creation of the tools. It's something that David and Dietmar have described, but also, and this is also, I will say it's a distinctive feature of IntelComp, we use the experts when we enrich the data, when we train the artificial intelligence models, because through this interactive model trainer that David Gago has referred to before, we allow the user to curate, fine-tune the models that later on will be used to provide the evidence to provide the user with results. Okay, so we can see that more clearly in the next slide. So David mentioned before that you know, sometimes it's not clear where the interaction of the tools, how they are connected. Well, this slide tries to cover that, and also to reflect where we have you know, this user in the loop stamp that you have in green. So I mean, regarding the tools that we have developed, the user will start in the data catalog. So there, he or she can navigate through the different data sources that we have ingested to our platform. And then they can select the specific data, the specific collections they want to work with. So once they do that, this data will be available for them at Interactive Model Trainer. Okay, so this is the second one you have down to the below the data catalog. So here in the Interactive Model Trainer, we did we used the knowledge, the feedback of the experts at two different levels. First, as David described, we co-created the tool with the users through a series of sprints. And then also we use the Interactive Model Trainer in order to train artificial intelligence models for the data that we have in this living lab, so that in the end, the information that you can see in the evaluation workbench, in the STI viewer, and in the participation portal are connected, are aligned to the models that the user created through the interactive model. As a result of the interactive model trainer, we create a graph explorer. There is not really much connection or much user in the loop approach here, but the results of the interactive model trainer go through the different data services and APIs that we have in IntelComp, and then they are consumed by the STI viewer, the participation portal that David have discussed in the previous talk, and also by another user related tool, the evaluation workbench. Okay, so all these three applications, which are like final applications for the user, the STI viewer, the participation portal, and the evaluation workbench, all of them have been co-created with the users, both with respect to the information that they display. Okay, so for instance, in the STI viewer, the users could define which are the indicators they want to see, but also with respect to the functionality they have. For instance, for the evaluation workbench, we are still hosting a series of meetings, periodic meetings with the teams, the user teams, that allow us to align the functionality of the tool to their requirements. Okay, so this co-creation that I don't know if it was Dietmar or David mentioned it was useful for them. It was also very useful for the technical teams, so that we could provide functionality that they are demanded, and that was actually something that they could use in their routine in their work. Okay, so next one, I want to make a brief considerations about the interactive model trainer, because I mean, for the co-creation part, I think that it's very clear, right? I mean, the user specifies what they expect, the functionality they want to get from the different tools, and also fine-tune the physical appearance of the tool. So that's practical for them, of course. But then in IntelComp, we are providing this interactive model trainer, which allows the user to train their own models. They don't have to install anything on their computers. They can access and train the models as a web service, and they can train models for both domain classification and topic modeling. Okay, and this is, well, actually also for classification. So this is really very relevant for them, because then the information they get in the STI viewer, so for instance, they have selected some data set for a specific domain, they have trained some topic modeling on top of that. Well, this information is going to propagate to the STI viewer. So all these plots David was showing before about time evolution for topics, they will not only select this kind of figure, they will also train the model that is shown in such a figure. And we believe this is very important, because the information needs to be somehow aligned to the expectations of the user. If we can get that, we really believe that this kind of technologies, this approach is going to be easier to adopt for the final users. Okay, and then there is also an indirect benefit, which is probably not so obvious, but inside the project, we rely on similarities, measuring similarity among documents, and this can be better than if we have a topic model which supports that metric, which is of high quality. Okay, so I will say, that this IMT, the interactive model trainer, is a key component of the IntelComp platform as well. Okay, so we can move to the last part of the presentation. So I have discussed different services that we support, different platforms. It's a little bit noisy. I don't know if... Okay, so maybe somebody has the mic open. Much better now, thank you. Okay, so I said that we have a number of services, we have a number of user tools, we have, to deploy NLP pipelines, we have to train artificial intelligence models. So in the end, that means that we have to rely on a platform that offers different infrastructure where we can deploy all this functionality. So inside the project, such infrastructure was provided by Barcelona Supercomputing. So there are different configurations that we use inside the project. So for instance, we had a separate part where we were able to do the batch processing using GPU facilities. This was critical for the neural machine translation and the NLP pipelines. Then the part in blue that you have to the left, this is where all the web services and also the training of the models was carried out. So we developed the different components as different Dockers. Some of them were also deployed as virtual machines, but we relied mostly on Dockers, both for the training of the models, but also to deploy the web services. Okay, so having this as Dockers is also something which I think is a benefit of the project, because all these components can be then deployed easily by anyone interested on using them. They don't have to deploy the whole workflow, but only the components that they want to use. And as I said, most of them are Dockerized, so this should be reasonably easy to do. Okay, and this is the last slide where we see how we were able to connect at a physical or logical level the different components, and this is the part that you have in green in the middle. This is where the information was exchanged by the different components. Here we have a distributed file system. We have a NFS, which was relevant because these are the units that are mapped to the different Dockers. And we also have some services, some databases, which are centralized for the project. In this way, the different components can consume the information they need, and they can offer the results for other components to use. And you can see that, I mean, I'm not going to get into detail here, but you can see that the different components are deployed using different technologies, but all of them can live with each other and connect to each other, basically because we have this physical layer for data exchange. Okay. Well, so that was the end of my presentation. I don't know if you have anyone has any questions about it. Otherwise, we can, I guess, move on to next talk by Joseba.
No questions for Jerónimo? Someone? No? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to present the main achievements of the IntelComp project. Just first, a quick reminder of what the project was about and the platform. IntelComp is a platform to improve and automatize the task of managers of R&D programs at ministries and funding agencies by exploiting millions of documents with text analytics. What was the rationale of the project? The rationale was twofold. On one hand, we have an unprecedented volume of and variety of data about research and innovation activities, and also the evolution of text analysis that, well, and also AI that is in the press, is well known for everyone. So these are ideal conditions for the applications of AI tools in science and innovation policy. And we thought at the beginning that the public administrations need a platform like IntelComp to exploit this opportunity of text as data to get insights that previously were not possible. Okay. Then I would say one of our main achievement was a theoretical framework of how can we use text analysis in STI policies. So first of all, we defined this framework with the assistance of several officials from ministries and funding agencies. We started from back to the theory of innovation systems. All this goes back to the 90s, to Nelson's, and all this idea of that you can have a common framework to analyze innovation systems. The strength of an innovation system is the strength of the linkages between the different actors. And from that, we define a series of options of the innovation systems. In Nelson's idea, the most important thing for innovation is firms, is entrepreneurship, but we also take into account the linkages among actors, the creation of knowledge, the acceptance by the customers, and all of that. No. So we started with this framework, and we also put it together with the stages of the policy cycle. This is also a theoretical construct. This is we have like a policy as a problem solving. So we have a series of goals and we have a series of means. And to do that, well, we have this cycle of we start with the definition of the problem. Then we formulate a policy. We decide on which policy we want. Then we implement it, then we monitor it, we evaluate it, and then we go back to the definition of the next program or policy. So we cross these two dimensions, and we arrive with a series of questions in the specific realm of STI policy, and then we focus on those stages of the policy cycle where we think text analysis can be more useful. No. That's for instance, the first one is clear, is agenda setting or intelligence gathering. There is a lot of work already on that, on the analysis of all the STI landscape about how we can explore the text about patents, publications, and get some insights from that. Then we move on to more policy formulation, policy implementation, and policy monitoring, where I'm going to explain right now how we can use text analytics. Okay. So let me go here. So how can we use in agenda setting? As I was mentioning before, program managers can focus on specific domains and measure research and innovation activities to define the problem or challenge of the program. In the formulation stage, well, we can use this information about the landscape and put it together with the information that we have about our own program, how the policymakers want to intervene in this landscape. The third question is about the evaluation, the evaluation of proposal for funding. That's one. There is also a lot of experience already in different agencies. As we are familiar with in Norway, in Sweden, they have already put in practice these text analytics tools to help in the evaluation of proposal for funding. And then in the monitoring, we can explore the data associated with the inputs and the outputs of programs to follow their execution. Okay. Then the second, I was saying this presentation is about the main achievements of the projects. The first one is the theoretical framework. The second one is how we gather the requirements for the different tools. Here we have this with this theoretical framework in mind. The Living Labs have practiced with reliable data, as Jerónimo has explained, to define the user needs for the different interactive tools that we have in IntelComp. Here is a table that can put together in what stages, in which tasks policymakers can use IntelComp in agenda setting, policy formulation, policy implementation, and monitoring, and also the different tools that we were discussing already in these workshops. How can we use them? Okay. So how we gather the requirements for the different tools? I think in the STI Viewer and the STI Participation Portal, our main added value in these tools is that the list of measurements rely on the theoretical framework that we have defined before. Okay, so the indicators or the measurements that we have there stem from the policy, from the theoretical framework, from these requirements previously defined by policy officials. Okay, and also we have some requirements for the usability of the dashboards that David was showing to you. Regarding the graph visualizer, I would say here that well, we have not seen this tool in action, but what I think is important for that is, if you know graphs, you can go at the level of granularity that is the project, and also create communities and the thematic. I would say here is important because we can see the funding, how the funding, and for instance, take funding at EC level, and how the thematic distribution of the different projects, we can put that together and show it in the graph. Okay, regarding the evaluation workbench, we have not seen it, no, but I think we can explain that this is a tool to analyze a set of proposals and documents, to search similar documents, to classify the proposals, to find suitable reviewers, and to detect conflict of interests. This is a tool that we have already been practicing with STI for more than I would say 8 years, and we think this is a tool that can be implemented right now. And in this project, what we have done is we have defined the requirements for the tool directly from a funding agency. I think that's one of the added value of the project, because the great funding agency has provided us the data and the requirements to develop these tools. Regarding the interactive model training, well, Jerónimo has explained already that. I'm not going to get into that. And the third achievement, I would say, of the project is that this is a working platform. Okay, maybe we have not been able to show this today, but this is a working platform. Okay, we all the services and tools are integrated and deployed, and they are sufficiently mature. And what we have to do right now is to define use cases in any domain and have some testers. Well, I would say that some real use cases to apply these tools. So to explain how we are going to define use cases, I leave the floor to Daniel. Okay, any question?
There is a question in the chat.
Okay. A question in the chat. Thank you. Sergio asks, based on your work, do you plan to transform the theoretical framework for times mining in STI policy into a practical one? Well, I think we have already done that. In fact, the theoretical framework that we did, we have these questions that we have defined at the beginning, crossing the theory of innovation systems with the policy cycle, and then we have, from these measurements, what we have done is we explained this in the previous workshop. We say, are these indicators? Can we calculate these indicators with text mining? And we define this. We select the indicators that we can calculate with text mining. We gather the data that can answer these questions, and then we show it in the STI viewer. So I think in that sense we went from the theoretical framework to the practical indicators that we can show in the STI viewer, and also for the description of the results because the STI viewer shows indicators about the landscape, but also shows indicators for specific programs. This is something that we can, Sergio, if you want, we can arrange a demo, and you can see there all the indicators that we have gathered. But because there we also have indicators for Cordis, okay, and you can see the results. And Jerónimo, is a question about you. Can you elaborate more about how you implement the large language models in your architecture? Jerónimo, please.
Yes. So, if you can mute on your side, yeah. Thank you. So first of all, maybe apologies, Sergio, if I wasn't clear on that about the theoretical framework already being implemented. I mean, this is the work that was done in the first year, and the last 2 years of the project were actually about the implementation of specific indicators that we identified. Okay, so then you are asking about the large language model. So at the beginning of the project, when we wrote the proposal, and I mean, this was something that was not generally available. We had, of course, transformer architectures that we were using for training some of the neural models that we use for automatic classification, even for topic modeling, okay? But now we have these very powerful services which can be accessed via API from OpenAI, or you can even deploy them locally in Llama. So inside the project, we did not deploy any such model such as Llama. We are just, trying to incorporate the functionality they offer via API, and we do so, for instance, by connecting them to the topic modeling functionality, which is available at the interactive model trainer. So now, once the models are trained, we directly label the topics that we detect using OpenAI. We have designed some prompting where we ask OpenAI to act as an annotator for topics for us. And then we also rely on large language models to evaluate the quality of the topics, asking whether there is some intruder in the description of the topics, things like that. Okay, so I mean, of course, in future, we would like to maybe not use them only as an external service. It makes sense to deploy some models locally, given that we have the infrastructure to do so. It will be better to have some of the, I mean, for instance, we could deploy Llama in the infrastructure and use it as an alternative to OpenAI. And also some of the other services that we use, we could expand them using the large language models. But let me insist on the fact that the domain classification, the zero-shot classification, they are already using transformer-based architectures for pre-training them. I mean, we use the pre-train infrastructures, pre-train models, sorry, and then we do the fine-tuning to provide some of these services. I don't know, Sergio, if I answer your question or you want more information.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeroen. In fact, sorry for bombarding you with questions. I don't want to mobilize the floor, but it's very interesting, the development you have, and I perfectly understand that this large language model came late. This is also my daily experience. I had to reshuffle a number of projects based on this. So I wanted to understand where you were putting the emphasis on this. Right? Essentially, it's on data quality, monitoring on this topic, which is you using it. Where you consider, or do you consider at some point to use them as an additional layer of interface for the end user? Because through my experience in the numerous projects I'm following on this domain, when you develop such an infrastructure, you always are in the bottleneck of the user not querying, because first there is not a lot of practice of good prompting of this model, of this interface and database, and we perceive this for the moment as one option. We don't want to put all the emphasis on this, but it's probably the easiest way between the user and the machine today, even if we've used plenty of the other approach. So I was wondering if you put a layer, or intend to put a layer of addressing the STI, or indirectly to give the user the possibility to really interact with your data repository. I would call it like this.
No, I mean, that sounds really interesting. It's not something we have thought a lot about, to be honest, but I think you're right. I mean, the user is gonna, I mean, they are gonna get used to this kind of interaction to systems. So any system that does not allow the user to interact them in a natural way will probably become obsolete very soon. So yeah, I mean, we have not seriously analyzed how this can be done in a project like IntelComp. Because I mean, there are many interactions. I mean, we can allow the user to have an access kind of as a conversational system, but then you know, using the feedback of that system to trigger some of the processes that we carry out, you know, at lower levels in the platform is not trivial. I mean, I will say that's very super interesting work, but it really needs, you know, careful thought about how to do it. If also if we want to provide information which is really evidence and not just jump to some conclusions that are simply, you know, these models sometimes are very creative. They can, you know, even invent, and there's no easy way to know whether they are, you know, providing the actual fact or you know, some creative answers to and we really want to provide data which is supported by data. So yeah, I mean, I can see that large language models should be used as a kind of to interact with the user, but then we need to find a way so that you know, these questions and this understanding of the large language models output can also be connected to the lower levels in you know, in the lower level services that we have in IntelComp, which I will say are more systematic, are the ones that should be trusted, maybe.
Yeah, I think I perfectly understand. It's just I want to share my consideration regarding this, because in most of the model, I started also by having keyword access using Notepad, Jupyter Notepad and other access, then requesting SQL, NoSQL queries and so on. So moving from one dimension to another. And the most complicated aspect when you develop such an environment is to scale it up in terms of users. It means making it reachable by as many users as possible. And all the attempts you can do at a different type of query are restricting it to a community of data analysts and data scientists, which are eager to use it. But then to go to the next step, so really to open it to a wider community, you really need to, I mean, I've tried many different aspects, training, cultural change, trying to expose people to, but the only way is to really bring them to be confronted to an interaction that they can master by using just simple interactive natural language processing aspect and typing their query. Then I agree with you. It's very important to contain this into the fact that this model cannot release information that are offensive. This is why, for me, the message today in the development of these interactions, for example, I'm linking a large language model on knowledge graph and others, try to increase the quality of the data with other sources, but also to have the capacity to educate the user that what is produced using this interface is just a suggestion. It's definitely not the answer. I think this is the next step that we will all be faced with when you open such an access to people, is that never take for granted what is released by this model. This is one. And I would say even by validated indicator. I mean, we're struggling with plenty of indicator where between quote expert are fighting on what is a good or bad and what is a validated step and so on. And so this is why I wanted to understand. And I have to apologize on the fact that maybe I'm asking about the materialization of all this. I have to confess, the last workshop I was cut off at middle of the presentation for whatever reason. So maybe you have presented a lot of the implementation of the STI and the portal, but I was not aware to reach them. But this is really my concern now. What would be the next step? I would like to avoid that as many of these projects I've been following for the last years, that we are not able to go to the step of really releasing a product outside, even if I don't like the terminology of product, but to release something that is really useful for the policymaker and as policy analyst also to be able to see what is really inside it and put it in practice, because it's only when you do this that you expose it for policy making, then you get really the real value. Has this been used for generating policy recommendation? I would stop here because I have so many different point of view on this. I may capture all the time.
Okay. Let me just interrupt you. Okay, I think we agree. We need to move on.
Maybe 1 minute,
sorry, Jerónimo. Let me go to the next because we are running out of time. Okay, so maybe Daniel can
share the screen, please.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, it's my turn. I'm Daniel Jimenez from NTP Data. I'm the exploitation manager of the project, and I'm here to share you some key messages about the exploitation and sustainability aspects of the solution. As we have here, we have an IntelComp solution that is quite modular and open source component, and we have several open source components. During the project, we built 6 specific tools to work on this theoretical framework and to give answers to the policy analyst. All of them are modular. We can use one of or other depending on the user needs at the end. So we can use separately. But the point is, when we have all together, we have a pipeline, several pipelines where, as Jerónimo explained before, that the data is and the models are used in another tools, and we can have a more comprehensive experience on this analysis. So we have these 6 tools, and also we have altogether an IntelComp integrated solution with all of them. As all these tools are open and also are available in GitHub, so if you in your project, in your needs, you have the capabilities to download this information, this software, and you can customize and integrate in your solutions. This will be one option for your projects. And also, but before that, I would like to share only two main aspects. One is the target customers that we have in mind when we think about the IntelComp project. Of course, the typical user of the IntelComp tool is the STI policy analyst, but we have 2 main kind of organizations that we have. One is of course the funding agencies. They can use some of the different tools that we have in the IntelComp solution, but this will be the main profile. But also we can have the possibility to be used by the policy analyst firms because they can provide services to funding agencies using this tool. Instead to use the tool for their own funding programs or their own insights, the idea will be to prepare their insights and give these services to some kind of funding agencies without resources or enough skills to do that. This will be the 2 main target customers. Of course, we are open to listen any of your needs. And the other quite important point is the value offering of IntelComp. As Joseba and Jerónimo explained, and also David during the whole meeting, the point is we have relevant savings in extracting insights, moving from a highly manual process, that we have actually nowadays in the funding agencies to or another kind of users to a semi-automated end-to-end process designing for STI policy analysis, because it is not a generic platform. It's based on this theoretical framework and put in the practice. So and also supported by artificial intelligence. So this is the main point. We have given savings for preparing this information. And the second one is the global coverage of the different stages of the policy cycle. It's not a narrow action, it's more comprehensive and try to find insights from the whole cycle. So with that, we can obtain synergies and some efficiencies during the process. So with that ideas in mind, we have two main approaches in the scenarios that we have in the exploitation. And one is the open scenario, that as I commented before, where users can choose the modules from GitHub and customize, integrate them in their own processes. At the end, the IntelComp tools are quite modular, versatile, and they can use them as they need in their own processes. But the point is, at the end, IntelComp Consortia has and also the solution comprise many different technologies and capabilities. So it is not so easy to compress all these capabilities in one unique team and can customize the module or do the integration. So of course, IntelComp partners are open to support all of you in all the needs around the IntelComp tools and the integrated solution. So in the second scenario is precisely that IntelComp partners can provide services in order to support you in the use of this tool. One could be use literally the integrated solution that for example, in a project-based approach, where you can we can provide you access to our platform, and maybe we can do some services to customize the domains or maybe the indicators or whatever. And the other way could be to use literally to choose what are the modules more interesting for you, or maybe use the integrated solution, and on top of that, do some customization, do some integration with your existing platform, do a deployment in your premises, for example, maybe give you some training for giving you the specific capabilities or enough information for doing the first setup, and maybe later on you can start working with that tools of, for example, the maintenance. No, so we are, as IntelComp partners, open to support all your needs in order to put the platform in practice for you. No, for example, I don't want to enter in concrete examples, but the idea will be, for example, to say, okay, what of these tools are useful for you. So we can go with this tool and check what are the domain is or the indicator are okay for you. So we can do the integration inside, do the deployment in your premises. Maybe in other cases we can use the whole solution, because we have a very handcraft process and you need a more sophisticated one. So we can introduce the whole solution in your premises. So there are several potential activities. We are open and we have the capabilities, and also we want to continue working on the development of the solution during the next in the near future, because we understand that the Commission and this kind of profiles are quite interesting on that. So we are quite open to find opportunities and to continue on that. So this is all for me. If you have any question.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, I would like to apologize to David Francisco that was supposed to lead with this presentation, but finally, due to some schedule issues, I will be taking part in charge of this presentation. So, let me introduce some brief of the Ministry of Economy. Just only digital transformation ministry, that because the last change in the last week. Almost 3 years ago, we launched the National Strategy of Artificial Intelligence, the ENIA, where many initiatives were inside. However, I want it be inside of each initiative. Just only this strategy that assets that we consider that are more related with the IntelComp project, the project that we are dealing here. First axis that I will point out is to promote scientist research, technological development, and innovation in AI. In this sense, we just established several projects in line with this objective. Was, for instance, the AI Excellent Network, the Neurotech, and also the AI Mission, which deal with a significant challenge in our country. The second axis, that was what was the number 3 inside the ENIA, was to regarding develop data platform and technological infrastructure to support AI. Both data platform and natural language processing are inside this axis, and in this axis, just we be in progress with the national plan of language technology, and the other important project was the quantum computer that was set up last year. And the third axis was axis 4 actually, integrate AI into value chains to transform the economical industry. And I can say a worthy example here was that the project that we launched last year was the national plan of green algorithm that is regarding to this axis, and also is in progress right now. And the last one is but not least, is the axis 5. That's try to enhance the use of AI in public administration and the national strategic missions. And this axis is also in progress now. So, as I mentioned before, the National Plan for Language Technologies was inside the axis 3 in ENIA through the measure 14. And this national plan allowed to the administration to be promoter and also client of this tool that lead with the technological language. So this is allowed to catalyzing a wide scope of the industry of language technology in this regard. So the key points of this national plan were to make collaboration with public and private organizations. In this sense, we can point out the RAE, for instance, the public organization like RAE, CSIC, and the Barcelona Supercomputing, and the Spanish National Library. And this also with the main strategies that this plan try to do is the energizing the sector with access to corpus, model, and infrastructure in the field of AI, offering more efficient and inclusive services in the public administration, and creating resource and solutions for public and private organizations. So, actually, even the IntelComp project was in the framework of the National Plan of Language Technology that SEDIA launched in the 2018. Right now, SEDIA is developing the new plan, the new National Plan for Language Technology. This with the aim to continue with the former one. And the main points of this new National Plan for the Language Technology are to give continuity to the initiative under the plan of the linguistic technology, plus to address the evolution and importance of AI, and to focus on several key missions as access to data in a proper way, or just language modeling with trying to minimize biases, or human resource training on linguistic technology. So moving forward, the IntelComp project will be in line with this new plan of for language technologies in the axis 3, trying to be reference in different reference access point. And in this new plan, it's going to be the next point in the regarding to IntelComp is to will be the set to the language research, will include a catalog of corpus and models. Also, linguistic assets will be taking part of a high value data, also taking in line with the data policies. And the last is going to be the IntelComp will be offering from the Barcelona supercomputing infrastructure as an online AI-based platform for improving the design, the implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of public policies. So, just to conclude, the future of IntelComp through this new plan within the framework of the National Plan of Linguistic Technology, in order to be continued with this. It has been IntelComp in the end, it has been included in the language modeling initiative led by the Barcelona supercomputing. And in this respect, through some transfer resolution. So the Barcelona supercomputing will be in charge, will assume these responsibilities. The first one, maintenance of an existing infrastructure for a small scale use case development. Also, yes, to provide code support for open issues on GitHub, and also develop installation guide and manual user for unbiased model in line with the AI Act. This the AI regulation for regulation for artificial intelligence that the Commission Union set up last year, and this that was inside of this draft resolution, but also we are just focused on to include it the possibility to address the generation sector monitoring application to assist the management of public policy, analyzing the field of application of service and goods contracted through this new measure. So that's all. This is all the main keys that the initiative that from side I can tell you. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maria.
Thank you, everyone. Now, if you have any question, you can send it to the chat or here in the room. This one?
Well, this was a clarification by Jesus, no?
Okay.
Pero no,
okay. If there is not any question, we finish here. Thank you, everyone, and see you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, Almudena.
Thank you.
Bye, bye.
Bye, all. Thank you so much.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.